I expect you are all familiar with the traditional story. Let's call it the story of the suburban family, best reproduced in the TV situation comedy Leave It to Beaver, where the domestic ideal is celebrated. Leave It to Beaver wasn't alone. Think of shows like The Donna Reed Show, for example, or I Love Lucy. But June Cleaver was a particular icon in the 1950s. Perhaps the most watched show of the decade. She had a handsome husband, a comfortable house in the suburbs, 2 sons aged almost 8 and 11. The youngest of these was nicknamed Beaver. This was a comedy, a family romance, if you like, about an affluent suburban mother's efforts to deal with her growing sons. June Cleaver demonstrated the ideal living patterns for new generations of middle-income suburban housewives. On screen, she was played by Barbara Billingsley. Notice that she's wearing pearls, a badge of affluence and good breeding. Her stage husband, a handsome man, made a good living, enough to provide well for the family and to give them comfortable summer holidays in a neat summer cabin on the shores of a Minnesota lake. June is dedicated to her family. Her interests outside the home are confined to social events like weddings or school meetings and plays. She has ladylike pastimes like needlepoint, cake decorating, and arranging tea roses. When the boys arrive home from school, Wikipedia tells us, June can be found in the kitchen chopping salad vegetables, basting a roast, or icing a cake. Her kitchen is always immaculate. Like most TV middle-class sitcom families of the era, the Cleavers ate breakfast and lunch in the kitchen. Dinners were full-scale affairs in the dining room, replete with cloth, not paper napkins. Instructed and guided by glossy women's magazines like the Ladies' Home Journal and Family Circle, the suburban housewife learned how to furnish and run her home, what kinds of meals to present to their families, and how to rear children. Bruce and Beatrice Gould, the husband and wife team who edited the Ladies' Home Journal from the 1930s through the 1950s, exalted women's work, by which they meant the work women did in the home. We certainly had many articles showing how important women's work was, they told an interviewer, even to the extent once that we had an article showing that if a woman were being paid for what she did around the house, she would get $12,000 a year. In the 1950s, that would have been a very good salary indeed. In fact, the average housewife got room and board and a spending allowance that generally reflected her husband's income. Missing from the scenario were rising pressures on the family, the demand to live a lifestyle that required automobiles, telephones, and television sets, as well as a range of consumer items like refrigerators, new electric appliances, vacuum cleaners, encouraged women to help their husbands by earning something, if only a little. Paying off a mortgage and saving for a child's college education stressed all but the most affluent families. Most male breadwinners couldn't meet the ever-expanding needs of families, and though men often resisted their wives' income-earning activities, families quickly learned that a little extra help might make a big difference in family life. The puzzle remains. Were women content to remain at home or to take poorly paid work because they really imagined themselves to be better wives and mothers if they didn't earn wages? Or were they working in these jobs because they were still constrained by what in the 19th century you'll remember we called coverture? What was the role of custom and culture a custom and culture that defined femininity and women's personas in terms of the caring and nurturing roles that the family required.